reverse game breaks, we'll get you loaded up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, slides, do the game, tap, this win it in. First year game, we're here for the first May. Carry body, keep it every 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
I know everybody thinks it's cliche, but, I truly believe in my heart, that we all are blessed just to have the opportunity to be at the University of Tennessee. We've had some guys in the past that always felt like Tennessee was blessed to have us, and that's not the case, So these guys, I think they're believing in what we're doing, how we're doing things, that they understand it's bigger than us as individuals. It's bigger than me as Coach G. It's bigger than Coach Banks. It's bigger than Coach Eck. It's bigger than any one of them. It begins with the T and ends with the T.
I mean, Peyton Manning said it best year one when we got here. He looked at Coach Heupel and he goes, man, if the Colts lose, I'm all right. If the Broncos lose, I'm good. He goes, but if the Vols lose on Saturday, it hurts my soul. And there's a lot of other people. There's 103,000 people every Saturday who will say the same thing, and there's probably 1 million more watching at home. So it's important here, and those guys feel that.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, joined by Coach Jay, Coach Rice, Daubers in the house. Look, we've been here. We've done this. We're Tennessee fans. We get through this together. It ain't our first rodeo. It ain't our first heartbreaking loss. It does feel like sometimes they find a new way to let us down. Feels like they find a new way. Man, it's like things come full circle, and everybody is full of piss and vinegar. People want to yell at me. They want to yell at Coach Jay. They want to yell at each other. Look, we will get through this together. I'm going to get your all's opinions first. The AI summary when I popped in here says viewers are reacting to a college football game in which the team they support is struggling. They are criticizing the team's performance, especially the quarterback Nico and the play calling. They are also frustrated with the team's offensive line. I think we could probably summarize it like that and just call it a night and go to bed, but that's not what we're going to do. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. We'll see what you guys think. We're going to talk this thing out. The season's not over. Alabama just lost to Vanderbilt. Ole Miss lost to Kentucky. It's the SEC. That's what happens. It's not what any of us expected. It's not what we wanted. But we here we sit. We'll get through it. Sammy P's been a member for 36 months. Good old Nate Pruitt for 5 says this is what relying on the defense gets you. They can't stop everything all the time. Offensive play calling is pitiful. James Fair for 2 says Joe Milton 2.0. Sam Hyatt been a member for 19 months as our coaches need to be held accountable. What happened to keeping our foot on their throats? Anyway, win, lose, or tie, I'm all Vol till I die. Sam, good comment there. Caleb Eddy for 5, and that's why and that's why it happens when you try to play too conservative, rely too much on the defense. Osama bin Ballin. Nice name. Thanks for making me chuckle. I thought it wasn't Golish's offense. I don't think it is. We can agree to disagree. Dakota for 2. Ha. We just got beat by a backup quarterback. Will Dyer for 10 says hurts worse when you expect to win. GBO, see y'all next week. Adam Lee for 10 says, wait. What is that supposed to say? Is that an armchair quarterback? Heibel seems hard.
Obviously, at the moment.
Oh my gosh, I don't speak that, man. Heibel seems hard-headed and not adaptable. I get we have a legit defense and a great running game, but we also have 6'5" wide receivers. If line doesn't work, do the other, man. Some of y'all struggling tonight. Caleb Ray for 5. Tired of the conservative play calls. Just because your defense is playing good, you can't win all your games like that. Landon for 2 says, any way we can get our $8 million back from Nico. Let's see. Caleb Ray says, tired of the conservative play calls just because your defense is playing good. Did I read that already? I think I did. You can't win all your games like that. Landon's been a member for 26 months. If Heupel would stay out of Nico's ear, in my opinion, I believe he would do better. Zachary for 2, biggest choke artist ever. They deserve this loss. Dan Yoder for 10, that was enlightening. Going to be a tough sled against the rest of the SEC. Will Murley for 10, whatever part of my tuition went towards Nico's game check, I want it back. I get he's a freshman, but he is not living up to the hype, then pulls a Milton and runs out of bounds. BBS is back. Ricky D for 5 says, at least we didn't lose to Vandy. All goals still in play. MG Wade for 5. Anyone here going to explain how running out of bounds as time expires makes you a generational talent worth $8 million? Yeah, don't worry. We're going to get into that. Robbie drops a $20 super chat. That's an Orange Boy. Let's play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
So where the Demon says, anyone saying Nico isn't the guy just because the loss is an absolute loser, get over your pissy pity parties. He's a freshman and it will come around. He made mistakes and everyone does. Y'all some snakes in the grass.
Yep.
Let's just start. Let's get into some opening comments. I know you guys are going to have a lot to say tonight, so we'll come back to that. Coach Rice, I know you're full of piss and vinegar. Give me your opening thoughts on tonight's loss against Arkansas.
We did not show up. It was obviously it was the worst performance ever from a Heupel coach team. I mean, it's worse than last year's Missouri game, worse than the South Carolina game. The offense, I don't know. It's just not the same as it was in 22. It's just the creativeness. I don't think. At one time I thought Nico may have had the majority of the playbook available. It looks like the same freaking offense Joe Milton had last year. I mean, it looks like the exact same. And then defense, I mean, they tried to win the game for us. They didn't play their best, but they bent but not break most of the game and, made some plays in important moments. But they just got worn out and, they could only hold the table for so long before it ended up just falling out from under each other. But the point of it all, the reason why we lost this game is the offense, play calling, offensive line. Nico looked awful. Wide receivers were not getting separation. A lot of that's just, I mean, I don't know where the creativeness that we had in 22, where we were, I don't understand what changed from 2022 to where we are now when we thought we had a QB that could deliver the ball to our playmakers. Even if the playmaker, it's just, I don't understand why. And it shows. We really didn't play nobody. Oklahoma evidently sucks, other than their defense is all right. Chattanooga is what it is. Kent State is what it is. And NC State is awful. So we really haven't played nobody, and this team just got exposed. So, I mean, I hate – I'm going to get chewed out in the chat. No, you're
not. You're going to be the hero tonight, Coach Rice. You're going to be the hero. Don't worry.
Probably agree with me. And I hate to say it, but – and it's not that I'm saying Golish is the reason, because it's not, because he's done that. But I think the mixture of him and Heupel was a perfect combination, because it was creativeness in certain things, and it's just not the same. I think we got away from in the offseason from who we are and we've gone to this 12 personnel and gone to these different things. When 2022, when we were the highest scoring offense in the nation, we were in 11 personnel the whole dang season. And we scored tons of points on Alabama, and Georgia was the only team we didn't score against. So I don't understand why we've went away from who we are, but a lot of it is going to come out this week during the press conferences and everything of what's going on. But Nico's got to get his head together. Offensive line's got to get their chemistry together, and these wide receivers got to get together. The whole offense, besides Dylan Sampson, looked like dog crap tonight.
There's so many things to break down on the offense. We'll dig into it. We're gonna be live all night. We'll talk about it. Travis Adair for 5. Shout out to Travis. He's an Arkansas fan that popped in here back when we were covering baseball in Tennessee, and Arkansas was having some good back and forth. And Travis is an Arkansas fan. He's a good dude. He says, "Hey Boogie, with love from your Razorback friend Travis. No trash talk, just respect. Congrats on the win, Travis. Appreciate you popping in. Dauber, give me your opening thoughts on this game."
Man, this is a tough one, fellas. Coach Rice went a little long there. I'm going to try to.
That's the pot calling the kettle black.
All right.
I'm going to try to be short. Listen, Arkansas came out. They played a damn near perfect first half, and we were only down 3 points. I thought, okay, we're going to go into half. We're going to make some adjustments, which we did. We came out, we made some adjustments, especially offensively, started moving the ball down the field, scored 14. It was, I think to me, the biggest problem, it lies within the offensive line tonight. It's hard to call a game. And I sat there and listen, I'm as hurt and pissed off and mad as anyone. But you have to call the game as it's being played. And the offensive line wasn't giving a whole lot of protection. And the play calling, it was, run here, run there. You 3rd and long, you're behind the chains, and they're bringing the house. With an offensive line that has shown for 2.5 quarters that they're not going to be able to protect the quarterback. So I think there's a multitude of areas where you can throw some blame. You had some wide receivers drop some balls that should have been caught. The run game was non-existent in the first half. Listen, we were lucky to be down a field goal at halftime. I sat there multiple times in the first half and said, man, it feels like we should be down 3 scores right now because we've not done anything. But then you go back and look at the stats. This defense played pretty well. You got 2 4th down stops. You got 2 possessions inside the 5 that you held Arkansas to field goals. So it's one of those things. There's a lot of blame, a lot of hindsight's 2020. We can look at this, we can look at that. Play calling, penalties tonight too. Penalties that they reared their head and they stalled out drives in the first half. Those are things that need to be cleaned up. Listen, Boogie said it at the top. One game, what we've seen today happen in college football. The top 3 teams that everybody had going in the SEC, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, they're all sitting with 1 loss. So the season's not gone. And for everybody, dog cussing this team, the coaching staff, the quarterback, man, get a life. Either get behind this team or we don't need you.
Like, I don't want to dogpile on that statement, but it's like, I understand people being mad, being frustrated, being upset. And that's what this channel is all about, right? Come voice your frustration. But the idiot that I was arguing with on Twitter, when he would respond, he would tag Nico and talk about what a horrible player Nico was. He would tag Josh. Get a life, man. Stop tagging our players and coaches because you're crying over a football game. Like, grow up. Like, voice your frustration. That's your platform. You want to tweet. But when you start tagging our players and our coaches, that does nothing for this football program. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Say the Truth for Two says season isn't over. It's funny because some people in the chat are saying that it is over, that our playoffs hopes are over. But meanwhile, Alabama, theirs aren't, right? They lost to Vanderbilt, and they're going to be just fine. Mad Mopar Motorsports for Two, just me, or is Nico holding the ball too long? This is one man's opinion. I don't think Nico played well tonight. I do not think he played well tonight. I also don't think our wide receivers are getting open. I would love to see the overall view, but anytime you saw downfield when Nico was sitting there, nobody was open. Now, I think that is leading to Nico having happy feet. I think he is getting stressed, and I think he may be forcing it because nobody is getting open, and he didn't seem cool, calm, and collected tonight. But on the flip side, I think the offensive line sucked, and I think wide receivers are not getting open. John Mills drops a 20 spot. We're going to drop the clip tonight just for the sake of time. John Mills for 20. That is very generous, and we appreciate it. That's not Joe Milton. That's bad coaching. How many times in the fourth quarter did they run it up the middle against a wall with a garbage secondary? Dylan Elam, member for 27 months. If my dog was as ugly as that game, I'd shave his teeth. Guys, come on, please. I understand you're frustrated, but don't make me sit here and read profanity on Super Chats. I appreciate the support. Landon for 2. Let's put the loss on the board and go beat Florida. Ball fan for life for 2. Heupel had his run. It's over. He is okay. Let's calm down, guys. It's one game. Matthew Watson for 2. Hurd and Lance got that lazy tendency. Wait, Hurd and Lance the same guy. Me Hughley, been a member for 28 months. Sir Micah for 5. Refs for blind and dumb. Hellemis blatant holds by Arkansas. Cthulhu member for 13 months. If you're salty, that's fine. I'm pissed. But what's worse is the completely negative BS the Negavols are puking out can go to freaking Hades. Noah for 2. We're back to conservative play calling. James Shrum for 2. This is the QB y'all wanted last year. Zeb for 2. The play calling at O-line was ridiculous tonight. Volfan 25 for 20. Tennessee fought hard and well, just needed to get better on offense. Keep hype. And Nico, thank you, Volfan 25. Knoxville Buckeye for 5. Tough game. Refs didn't call anything on anyone. We still beat Florida next week, but I'm thankful I sold my spare tickets earlier this year. Dakota for 2. We will lose to Vandy. Count on it. Man, y'all are struggling. Josh Baker for 2. We're trash. DBJ for 20. No matter what happened with Tennessee game, Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. Laughing emojis. Also, Stubblefield says Tennessee is always going to be ducking. Wait, Tennessee is always going to be ducking Tennessee? Why do I never know what that means? Mitchell for 5, just going to say this now. Nico isn't bad. We don't need to fire anyone. We had a bunch of bad penalties versus a good team, and they capitalized on it. Rocket Top Tom for 5. Our O-line is absolutely terrible. The play calling since AG left has been absolutely terrible. 10 penalties, horrible plays, horrible coaching. Joel's been a member for 36 months. At the very least, BBS and Ball Rage are good for the channel, right? On to UF. I would much rather celebrate a win than go through what we're going through tonight. Dakota Diggins for 2. Got 2 weeks to prepare and looked terrible. 7-5 or 8-4. All right, I will come back to your comments here just shortly. I want to kind of balance the show. Coach Jay, do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
You go. I'll take the floor last. That's fine.
Well, I think you can maybe calm everybody down. I think you're better at that than anybody else. Just for me, I think.
Good Lord, I try.
Everybody is so frustrated, and I kind of laughed when I saw the AI summarization because that's spot on, right? It's everybody's frustrated, everybody's upset. It's the offensive line, it's Nico, it's the play calling. So what is it? It's probably a combination of all of those things. And look, I just don't stress. I really never felt concerned until Arkansas scored right there at the end, and Tennessee clearly let them score, which I think was a smart move. I think that was the only chance you really had to win the football game. And even in that moment, I was like, all right, here's Nico's moment. Here's Nico's opportunity. He's going to go down and he's going to become a legend by leading us down the field and scoring. And let me tell you something. If he has just a little bit more time when he's rolling to the left and he can put a little bit more steam on that ball, that's a touchdown. And this is a different vibe in this postgame show. Unfortunately, he's rolling to the left. He couldn't put enough steam on it. I thought Nico was off. Like I said, he was pressured all night. I thought Brent Hubbs had an interesting stat. He's been sacked 12 times. I think it moved up to probably 14 or 15 against Power 4 opponents. That tells you this offensive line is struggling against legitimate defenses. He is getting pressured. I don't think when he's sitting back there and he's standing there too long. Sometimes he does need to get rid of the football, but I think he is a player trying to make plays. Is that good, bad? I don't know. It just is what it is. But I think the offense is a culmination of things. The offensive line is struggling. Wide receivers are not creating separation. The play calling is super conservative. Why? You know, we laughed about Jonathan Crompton saying that this coaching staff doesn't have trust in Nico. I still don't know that I believe that's true. So why is the play calling so
Can I ask you a
conservative?
question really quick, Boogie, but then keep going?
Sure.
Do you think Josh Heupel trusts this offensive line right now from the
No.
edge?
No, I do
Okay.
not. I do
So
not.
you can't. I will get into it, but you can't open up a playbook if you're getting a gap and straight rush pressure. I mean, Arkansas, and I'll let you continue here.
No,
Arkansas
let me,
was
you
the
said,
worst team at sacking QBs, and they whooped our O line up and down that field.
What they end up with?
With three and four guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, with 3 guys. Yeah,
not even
exactly.
blitzing. The front 3 and 4 were getting pressure.
But go ahead.
I think
Sorry,
a lot
Boogie.
of
I
that
don't want
goes
to derail.
into I think a
Yeah,
lot
go
of
ahead,
that
Coach.
goes into
Sorry.
the play calling because they're being so predictable. The defense knows what to do. I mean, to me, as an offensive play caller, when you're predictable, the defense can be aggressive. And
Right.
tonight's game plan was super predictable. And
I agree with you. Let's let Boogie finish though, Coach Rice, because I do want to have a good back and forth with you tonight. I think we can. But go ahead, Boogie.
I'll just tie a bow on mine. I think what Coach Rice is saying is true. I don't think there's not any creativity. So if wide receivers are not creating separation, if your offensive line is struggling, let's find a way to get creative and move the football. Like, that's your job. That's why you're getting paid $9 million a year. The last thing I want to say, and then I want to let Coach Jay kind of run with it here. I don't care if you're a redshirt freshman. I don't care if you're a 17-year senior Joe Milton. The game's on the line. We crucified Joe Milton for doing it. Tonight, Nico did it. Do we give Nico a free pass for running out of bounds when the game's on the line and the clock hits 0?
Can I answer it?
You better grow from that, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think it's good that I answer it, right? Because, look, I haven't changed my point of view on Nico at all. 0, right? But I agree with you. And it's a huge mistake. And I sat here on this channel, and I will be damned if I fed you guys a pile of bullpucky. I would judge Nico on what he did on the grass of the SEC. He can't do that. He has to learn from it. That was a huge mistake. No doubt about it. Just full stop at that. Now, let me rewind back to the beginning of the game here, and let me at least tell you guys what I'm thinking. I thought the game plan was terrible on both sides of the ball from the get-go. I really did believe that. I thought we came out flat. I thought the O-line was getting whooped early. I thought Hurd looked awful. If it was true he didn't want to put, bad film on there for NFL scouts, well, he certainly failed at that because he looked awful, just flat out awful. One overarching note, first things first, you win as a team and lose as a team. I'm sure Coach Rice will tell you that. Or anyone who's coached or played on a team, it is so rarely upon just one thing when a team loses. But I thought early the linebackers played atrociously in pass. They got crossed up. I don't know how many times, right?
Nope.
Over the middle. They were bad. I thought Arian Carter settled down a little later in the game, but he looked horrible. I mean, they were pulling linebackers one after the other looking for an answer because all of them were out of sorts. Peely was out of sorts and looked bad in that game in pass coverage. But just mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. And it wasn't just O-line. It was D-line, guys, which is weird. It was safeties. It was everyone. It was Jordan Ross, who I still believe. Do I think like we should sell Jordan Ross now? Or do I think anything has changed on my belief of how special Jordan Ross is going to be because he made a stupid play? No. Guys, I've coached a lot of football and played a lot of football. This defeatist attitude, this casual defeatist attitude in the chat of wanting to give up because a play didn't go your way or a game didn't go your way. I'll tell you what, this team needs to bite down and go back to work next week because what Dauber said was true. There is a long road to hoe here, and all of our goals are still in front of us. So that's number one. You need to bite down. I thought when we came out, I initially liked that we kind of opened up the way we were throwing a little bit at first, and then we backed right off of it, which I didn't get, right? And it opened up the run game when you saw them, get the ball downfield. There was a play in that game. There was a really important first down that Nico threw to Nimrod when they were in zero coverage that I liked. I thought Squirrel White dropped a winning catch late in that game that Nico put only where he could catch it. I thought Kitzelman dropped a game-winning catch in the flat. It's just those mistakes. Those guys were hit strikes. Those are game-winning passes. But you play as a team. You lose as a team. You know what? They didn't catch the ball. We made some plays, got downfield, and then came up short because Nico made a mistake. Everyone had mistakes in this game. Everyone played a part in Tennessee's loss tonight. All of our goals are still in front of us, but we need to bite down and go back to work and get better because tonight, not for anybody, not for the D-line, O-line, no one. It was good enough for no one tonight. James Pierce on the running play that put them into field goal range, that was one of the most pathetic plays on defense I've ever seen by a player. Flat out. Am I willing to sell stock on James Pierce now? No, that's stupid. Of course that's stupid, but everyone played bad tonight. We played as a team, and we certainly lost as a team tonight. And we'll jump into it from there, I guess.
Let me catch back up with the chat. Stash Fireman for 20. Never mind the fact that Arkansas defense came to play. Yeah, their defense. You got to give that Arkansas defense credit. They played good football. They did. I mean, kudos to them. Congrats to them on the win. Mugli for 5. There's a problem there. Can't be denied. Yep. Matt Begley, member for 37 months to start the last drive that they ended up scoring on. We only had 10 players on the field with Joseph running on the field late, and they ran right at that spot. Lack of execution across the board. The stupid penalties. Jordan Ross was trying to make a play. That really doesn't make me mad. It frustrates me. It's upsetting. But the stuff like that, like Joseph's running on late, the false starts, the having to burn a timeout, all that stuff infuriates me.
So one thing, and I'll get into it. Shoot, Boogie, there's screenshots coming your way. And Coach Rice, stop me if I'm telling lies right here, please.
Yeah.
Especially in the first half. It felt like the defense couldn't line up. They couldn't get in. They couldn't
get the calls.
And what if And what have we said, Coach Rice? The one thing is us coaches that will kill you quicker than anything is when you can't line up.
Yep.
You can't play football. It's that simple. Those two sentences go hand in hand. They go together like ribs and barbecue sauce, like hot wings and red hot, man. Like, if you can't line up, you can't play football. And I don't know what the disconnect was. I'm not trying to put it on the defense. They had their moments today. Everyone. Nico had his moments today where he played well, but then he had his moments where he played terrible. They all had that today where they played good at moments, but it wasn't good enough. And the bad outweighed the good today on the road, and it nipped us in the butt. It wasn't good enough, period, today.
Real quick, everyone's saying
64 super chats lined up, guys. 64 super chats need to be read.
Everyone's saying Bama lost, Georgia lost. So what? We're not them. Go out and go undefeated. I don't care what the heck the other teams do. If you want to go win a national championship, you go show it each and every week and quit making excuses for other teams that aren't you. You're supposed to bring it every week, every play, every rep. And this team showed up, lack of effort, lack of team chemistry, and didn't show up, get lined up on defense 3/4 of the game. The offense looked like they were dead the whole game. I'm sick of the condoning what we're doing when other teams are doing it. Who cares? We're not them. Go out and play your butt off each and every play and each and every game and go actually win a national championship. Quit making excuses.
I think from my point, because if you're yelling at me, because I said the same thing. I said the same thing about Alabama. I said the same thing about Ole Miss. The bottom line is,
no, I'm talking about chat.
But I'm just saying the loss sucks. This is not the goal. This is not the mission. This is not what we had in mind. The season is not over. It's not. I just saw somebody in the chat say fire Tim Banks. Are you kidding? 2 weeks ago, everybody's in the chat loving on Tim Banks. Everybody loving on Nico. Now we're hating on him. Stop eating our own. Like that's my thing. We can talk about football and talk about the frustration. Stop eating our own. It's not time to fire Josh Heupel. It's not time to fire Tim Banks. The idiot on Twitter I was arguing with said it's time to bench Nico. Are you kidding me? Like let's calm down and understand that we still have everything to play for.
We won 1 quarter of football tonight.
Yeah. Hey, look,
we won the 3rd quarter.
Bryce Young won a Heisman losing 2 games, right? Like, listen, and I'm not saying, don't confuse what I'm saying. Let me make a full stop here. I'm not saying Nico's playing at a Heisman level this year. I don't think that. But I'm just saying you can't have an overreaction and start throwing the baby out with the bathwater, I guess is what I'm saying here.
I've got to read super chats, guys.
Go.
The fans have a voice. We have to give them a voice. So I'm going to read the super chats. Louisiana ball for 2. There goes the playoffs, 80% down to 40, probably. You've got all your goals in front of you. All your goals in front of you. Brian Allison, member for 27 months. We came out slow and looked confused at times. Ball fan for life for 2. Man, goalish. Ball fan 25 for 5. Tennessee still has a chance to beat Georgia. Alabama, Florida, don't let one game throw it all away. Alex Gibson for 10. I'm as upset as everyone is. We got beat up front. Play calling was subpar, but what about all the penalties? That has to kill. That to me killed our momentum all night. Bottom line is we didn't show up. Cody Copeland for 10. Arkansas defense schemed it up well and made it hard for Nico to read anything. What looked like was about to be open wasn't. Safety switching coverage, etc. He just wasn't ready for that mentally. Ryan Hickerson for 2. At this rate, we will lose to Vanderbilt. Robert for 2. We made Nichols and Slaughter look like all-stars. Brian Puckett for 10. Refs screwed us on, and Nico wasn't Nico. Dauber still needs to – what? We are beating Georgia and Bama GBO. Why would you say that? Cody Copeland for 5. Nico will learn a lot from this, and as a team, we will learn and improve. This team has the potential with offensive improvement to make the playoff. GBO, Wayne for 2. Play calling was horrific in the 4th. Lee Holder becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, Lee. We appreciate that. You can join the channel for just $1. We appreciate the support. 100 for 2. Arkansas secondary is underrated. Osama bin Ballin for 2. The amount of holding calls not called was insane. Steve's been a member for a month, bro. Even when Nico had time, he threw behind receivers, had some overthrows. Ball fan for life for 2. Stop your BS. I don't know what he's talking about. Seth Brooks for 20. Just a disgusting performance. Nico looked frazzled the whole game. How does he pull a Joe Milton at the end like that? Play calling is hot garbage, ridiculous. I'm just upset. I still love the balls, but good Lord. Seth, that is perfectly fine to be upset and frustrated. And believe me, I said the same thing about Nico that I said about Joe when he ran out of bounds. There's no excuse for it. None. 0. Orange Sea Line for 5. Nico looked like Milton all night. I said what I said. Wait. You said Milton looked like a Heisman candidate. Is that what you're saying, Gary? Are you saying he looked like a Heisman candidate? Cody for 5. People forget Nico's a freshman. Give this kid a break. There was also many calls against Arkansas offense that wasn't called. Joel for 50. I'm going to play it.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Joel for 50 says, I'm just about apathetic with this team. Every team we get a bit of hype, we get kicked in the nuts. Man, it hurts being a Tennessee fan sometimes. GBO, please stop hurting me. We are miserable people. This is what we signed up for in life. This one stings. This one hurts. Look, when you drop a game when you're supposed to, when you drive a game because your team sucks, whatever. But losing one like this, it always stings. Seth Brooks been a member for 23 months. AGR for 23 months. Chris for 12 months. Foul Mink for 8. Says the early D-line stunts and confusion really got to our line, and I think Nico lost confidence in his line. 8 to say it, but I'm not giving up yet. Caleb Bray for 2. Take shots on first down, then run second, third, repeat. Ball fan for life for 2. No, he missed the open receiver. Jesse Gates for 10. This won't be a trap game. Yeah, right. I had a feeling this would happen, and everyone that said our secondary was trash, congratulations. You were right. Nico looked horrible as well. Wow, man, the sky is falling. We suck again. Doesn't matter who said it was a trap game. Brady Williams for 2. Dauber pumping sunshine and rainbows. What in the man? You pissed somebody off, Dauber. David B for 10. Clock management at the end was terrible. However, this was only Nico's 6th start. This loss will not define him. Seth P for 10. Do you see us looking for a new OC this offseason? Absolutely not. Andrew Short for 10. The first half O-line is what lost us the game. Scored at will to open the second, then went conservative. Hope Hype learned his lesson. Parting shot, not one holding call on Arkansas, not one pre-snap till the fourth quarter. Beats by Stacks for 10. Appreciate that. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. Kid for 5. Our pets' heads are falling off. Go Vols. Cthulhu for 5. Just one loss. There were many issues in this game. Nico, the O-line, the tight end, wide receivers did not play very well. Road King Rider for a $4 super sticker. Seth Brooks for 10. Also, just want to say I appreciate you, Boogie, and the gang for having this channel. Win or lose, this is my go-to for post-game GBO. We appreciate that, Seth. Thank you so much. King Vol for 2. Hoping this opens Hype's eyes. Don't rely on the defense. Carter Lance drops $1. We appreciate that. Alicia Kaufman drops 5. Super sticker. Mrs. Coach J, 8 for all the negative balls. Poor Mrs. J. I can only imagine being in your all's household or not. Everybody go back to your seats. We're going to be okay. It's not BVS. It's just one game. Hashtag Colt of 8. Matthew Watson for 2. Petrino's blocking schemes killed us early. Josh Pickett for 5. I don't think we're ready. Just this game. BVS is real. GBO. John Mills for 2. Sorry about the language. Bad game. Disappointed. I get it, John. It's okay. I get it. Landon for 10. Just as pissed as everyone. But come on, Nico, as a freshman, stop absolutely trashing our coaches and Nico and take the loss. Let's go beat Florida and Bama. Go Vols. Cat Morgan for 2. Why isn't Nico running like he was before? I want to get into that in just a second. Michael Banks for 5. Look, I get why people are so negative, but this is ridiculous. We all need to calm down and watch this team go 11-1. Joel for another 10. This loss is on me. I wore my UT hat to work last night. Won't do it again, guys. My bad. Blame Joel. Stop yelling at Dauber and blame Joel. Josh for 5. I don't think we are trash. Just this game. BBS is real. GBO. Travis Adair for 5. Josh Heupel has that one road blunder per year. This was it. Y'all are fine. Just relax. You're still a 10 or 11-win team. Chris Farmer for 10. Nico is young. Defense did their best. Go Vols. On to Florida. Get better and learn from it. Angry Titan for 2. Our tackles look like divas. Who is Hustle Game Clip becomes a member. Shout out for that. Nate Bailey for 5. Nothing to say. Just a tip in the tip jar. Louisiana Ball for 2. Pissed right now. Maybe by the day after vid, I'll be better. I hope I'm better. Tyler Maxwell for 2. This one is on the coaches and veterans. GBO. Nate drops another 2. Brad's been a member for 30 months. Well said, Coach J. Austin Stubblefield for 2. Feel like the 22 South Carolina game. Josh Bailey for 5. Weird weekend. This should light a fire in the guys and have them back on track ASAP. Lots of ball left to be played. Can't lose hope after one bad game. Zeb Williams for 2. Can we stop the Nico hate? It's a second game, SEC game. Dylan for 5. 22 South Carolina, 23 Missouri, 24 Arky. It's a trend. Cody says Coach J is preaching. There's still some more super chats. We're going to come back to them, but I want to take some of the themes from those super chats. 22 South Carolina, 23 Missouri, 24 Arky. It's a trend. Dauber. Every year it seems. So far, it's all the great things that Josh Heupel's done. It does seem that he typically seems to drop one that he's not supposed to drop.
Yeah, I mean, I guess 3's a trend. You know, I don't even know what to think. Hell, I don't want to pump sunshine and rainbows, and you know,
y'all got Dauber flustered. He doesn't know how to respond.
I'm tore all to pieces. Listen, it was a bad game. It was a bad game, top to bottom. You come out, defense, offense, the play calling, the discipline. You know, we've had multiple people talk about the penalties. That's something that you look at the teams a couple years ago, they couldn't recover from. And it seemed like we had moved past that as a team. And tonight, I think it was, you know, you said it best, Boogie. It was a combination of everything. I don't think you can put it on one person, one thing. And listen, I said it. Arkansas played a damn near perfect first half, and we were only down 3. Get that through some of y'all's heads. Even with the offense being horrible in the first half, the defense bending but not breaking, we were still down 3. We had our chances. We made some adjustments, came out, scored 14 in the third. We won the third quarter. And then the fourth, we just kind of started sleepwalking again. Offense went away. And then the defense, because they were on the field so much, I think that was the end of the game. But yeah, it's just one of those things. That's why you play the games. You hope that this team moving forward takes this game and learns from the mistakes and builds on it. And, you railroad Florida in Knoxville next week and move on and start building the pieces back up. Because all that momentum that you've had from the first 4 games is now gone.
Yeah, no, I agree. Man, I don't want to just keep going back to what I was saying. I just thought the team lost the game together. I just thought they all came up short. It's hard to kind of get into my 15,000 pages of notes here in a succinct, quick way. Yeah, no, it just wasn't good enough today. And you got to bite down. You got to come back, and you got to fight. That's just the end all be all for me.
Coach Rice, you go ahead.
Coach
No,
Rice.
if you got a thought for us, go with it.
Well, my thing is, I'm really starting to worry about Glenn Ellerby. Like, I know he's signed David Sanders, but developing players, this is awful. I mean, the offensive line is just not looked very good the last 2 years. Yes, run blocking's one thing, but when it comes to pass blocking, we're giving up sacks. Part of it's on the wide receivers part. And like Heupel says, it's 11 players all in one play. But at the same time, it hasn't been the same since 22 as far as the offensive line goes. And we weren't the best rushing team, but it's just something about the way the play calling was. It was more creative, kept people off, on their toes. And it helped when you had the explosive plays. You had, a stable of running backs that would make plays. You had the best wide receiver in the nation that just seemed like he was open all the time. Even in 21, Cedric Tillman would be wide open. Velus Jones would be wide open. I don't know where, and this is after getting off the Glenn Ellerby train, because that is what it is. I just don't think you can develop offensive linemen. I hope if we do let him go, which I doubt we do, because he's best friends with Coach Heupel. But I mean, I think some of this is on Coach Heupel not adapting to what he needs to do to fit the strengths of this team.
It's on everyone, right, Coach? Every coach, every player.
It's every coach. It's every coach.
Yeah.
That's why the Golish and everybody in the chat is going on about Golish. Bays,
Golish scored 2 touchdowns last week.
Well, but
the thing is, that's easy, right? That's low hanging fruit. That's low hanging fruit. It's Golish, right? Because Golish left, and then all of a sudden we sucked. Well, Golish left. We lost Hendo Cinco, and then Joe Milton came in, and now we're expecting Nico to be him. And look, Nico is yet to show me that he is who I think he is. He's yet to show me that. Now, he's made some great throws. He's done some great things. He's also missed on some guys, right? And he's also but he's also a redshirt freshman. Like I thought he would be better than he's looked so far. But I'm not saying he looked even awful. But tonight I didn't think he looked good. Tonight I thought was his worst game that he's played. And yes, his wide receivers didn't bail him out. Kitzelman didn't help bail him out. His offensive line didn't bail him out. So there's so many layers to it to just come back to what Coach Jay said. It's on everybody, right? It's on everybody. But I want to add. Go ahead, Coach Ross. And then
I just think when you have the word I'm looking for, the reputation of being someone at the level of, I hate to say it because it's an Alabama player, but Tua, when he's coming up as a freshman, he came in as a true freshman in a national championship, and then as a redshirt freshman, went out there and looked like if what we're saying, if Nico was at the level he is, that's why a lot of Tennessee fans are upset, because he had these high expectations, And a lot of that's unfair to Nico, but at the same time, you know, he had those expectations because he's a 5-star, you know, the top player in the country. You know, we had this build up on him. Well, not only is the offensive line not performing, but there were some plays, I will say, Coach Jay, where he had time in the pocket and he, you know, missed the throws. Like missed, I'd say 7 or 8 throws that he could have easily made. And I just don't think the offense is gelling right now. Like there's something that's not there right now. That this offense, when we play top-notch competition, and yes, part of it's on the offensive line, but it's the whole offense. It's just not. I don't think we're going to be able to score against top competition with the way this offense is looking right now. Unless they go into this week and change some stuff, they're going to have to seriously look at themselves in the mirror and try to figure some stuff out because it's not getting fixed, even if we play a team like Florida.
I want to ask Coach Jay. I'm gonna lob a big old fat softball so Coach Jay gets annihilated by the chat again. Wide receivers. You know, Coach Rice just said it. It seemed like in 2022 somebody was running wide open down the field all the time. Do you believe that was scheme? Do you believe that Alex Golesh was dialing that up? Do you believe that Jalen Hyatt was better than Squirrel White? Or, you know, I mean, let's compare those two because same position. Is it play calling or like, are these wide receivers not creating? Is it on the receivers? Is it on? And I know we said it's on everybody, but what do you think about these wide receivers?
I think it was on everyone, so I think they came up short too. Just like I think Nico came up short at times. To Coach's Rice comment, I'll have to rewatch it. Like I'm sure he's thinking too, right? It's hard when you're watching a game, especially one that you're being emotional about and that's pissing you off. It's hard to kind of digest it in that way, in that film room kind of way, you know. So it's hard. I always try to be a little slow to that judgment, I guess is what I'm saying, because, you know, I'm in the game. I'm emotional about the game. I'm frustrated with the O-line, frustrated with this. I want to be able to watch that and give it its fair due. But it was on everyone. Like I said, the wide receivers had open issues at times. They got opened at times. It was just a little bit of everything tonight. Everyone came up short tonight. And the thing that sucks is, like, to me, is the fatalistic attitude. And that's all right, chat. If you need someone to be pissed, if you want to be someone to be pissed at tonight, chat, I would gladly have you blacken my name to do so. That's all right. Be pissed off at all Coach Jay. Leave Dauber alone over there, right?
It does like no, like
leave poor old Dauber alone in that.
All
corner.
honesty, it does. I love you guys. This show doesn't exist without the chat, but it's weird that you all get mad at us when Tennessee loses. Like we're the same dudes after a win that we are after a loss. Like just come on, calm down.
It's just like, act like you've been there before. Act like you've watched a football game before. Listen, Coach Jay isn't right because the offense was the number one offense and Nico was leading it before this game. And Coach Jay wasn't wrong because we had a bad game, because we played like crap tonight, right? Football's not measured in such a way. That's a way casuals measure it. So if you're measuring it that way, look in the mirror and say, I'm a casual, and that's okay. And be pissed at Coach Jay. That's okay too.
Maybe go fishing next weekend, or go to your tree stand, and not watch the Florida game and come join us after.
Jose, they let them score there at the end because so they could have time to get the offense on the field. Because if they would have tried to stop, well, I was just replying to his question. That's the reason why they let him score, because based on the time that was left, they would have been on the 3-yard line with a chip shot field goal to win the game as time expired. So that's why they let them run on into the end zone. That's why Thomas, just here's the end zone. So to answer your question, so go ahead, Boogie.
Yeah, I mean, it was a smart thing to do, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that was the only way you had a chance to win that game.
That's the only way. That was the only way.
Yeah, I'll answer a question in the chat. Yeah, I think Nico's still Heisman material easily, and I'll accept your apology later.
No, don't answer that guy's question because all he does is come in here and talk about how stupid we are and how
I
he
didn't
hates
know
us.
who he was.
So since we lost, he's coming
I
back in
just
to
saw
run
the
his mouth.
comment. I
So
didn't see the name, to be honest.
yeah, he can piss off
Oh.
and kick rocks and go somewhere else. Get a life, you loser. All right, let me catch back up with the real ones. Joshua Houston for 5. Heibel needs to help. Heibel needs to help O-line. Where are screens, heart reads in the middle of the field, design runs for Nico? Coach isn't doing enough to help the O-line. To me, the design runs to Nico is infuriating.
Yep.
We should see so many more design runs with Nico. I don't know if it's a fear of him getting hurt. I don't know what it is, but we need to see more design runs. Andrew Short for 5 tonight. I comfort myself by remembering I'd kill for the days we can be disappointing about nights like this. Still love this coach. Love this team. Drunken Ball for 20. This one hurt. Madness all over college football today. Still have everything in front of us. I'd still chew my off in Neyland next week. I bet he meant cheer. Some of y'all at the bottom of the bottle right now. I wish I was there with you.
I wish I was there too.
We have a job to do, Coach Rice. Tommy Downs for 10. What an awful game. O-line is pathetic. Wide receivers are slow, and Nico just isn't what he was advertised to be. Goodness gracious. Dylan for 10. Fellas, are we kind of moving the goalpost for Nico? It isn't the end, but dang. Nico is not where I thought he would be right now. He's not. That's just how I feel. Am I ready to write Nico off? Absolutely not. Nico's going to win us some ball games. That's what I believe. Who is Hustle Game Clip for 20? Stupid plays, penalties, play calling. Put your defense in really tough spots. We should have played Nico last year for mistakes. Interesting. Love my Vols, and hopefully we wake up and do it big for the rest of the season. Thank you for the super chat. Arkansas Vol member for 22 months. On the bright side, Florida tickets just got cheaper. For those still looking, this loss isn't the end of the world, people. It's a game. Life goes on. T-Rob Gaming for 10. Nico's still a freshman. We have to give grace. Fans need to stop acting like their couches and TVs grant them immortal knowledge. Jay-Z, I think it is, gifted a Talkin VAWLS membership. We appreciate that. Nicholas, been a member for 23 months. 23 months. Makes it so hard to be confident for other games after playing like that. Talked a lot of crap because I'm upset, so I apologize if you see my post. At least we have each other, friends. Lol. Mitchell, member for a month. I'm so tired of the sky's falling attitude from the small group of UT fans, even after a win. It's ridiculous. Yep.
Yeah.
Andrew Short for 5. Thankful for the Talkin VAWLS cast tonight. GBO, love me some Dauber. Screw those losers earlier. Love me some Dauber. Guess what? They could keep telling Dauber to go away, and guess who's going to be right here with me? Jacob Pearson drops $1. We appreciate you, brother. Click Crafters for 5. Winning on the road in the SEC is hard. Sincerely, Missouri and Alabama. Tim Armstrong for 20. I'm ticked off, fellas. This loss sucks. I'm sure people at the bar here in Idaho were concerned about me at the end of the game, but by Thursday, I will be talking smack about how we will beat Florida. Still, GBO. What are you laughing at, Coach Russ?
Oh, they's in Idaho. Just random. Random. Just
Yeah.
random thing.
Wayne for 20 or for 10 says, sorry, I said F Uncle. Not really. Go Vols. I don't think Uncle Lou's here anymore. Shout out Uncle Lou. In all seriousness, I know you are away from your home, got a lot of stuff going on, so hope everything works out for you. Robert Tuck for 2, Florida, can't wait to play us next week. Will Murley for 2, felt like 2023 A&M just came out on the losing end. Jacob Pearson for 2, Dauber, you're an OG. We love us some Dauber. See if you cry enough, they'll come behind you, Dauber. I've built you up to be a champion. Now, let me throw a dart at Dauber. Andrew for 20. At least Nico did it at 20 years old, and Joe did it at 35. Our freshman QB will make freshman mistakes, not excusing it. I'm as upset as anyone, but hopefully the game was a learning experience for him all the way around. Tim Armstrong for 10 says, I had been thinking that next year we may take a step back because I thought our O-line was good, and we will be less experienced next year. Fellas, our O-line has been so bad. I no longer think that. It's a concern. It's a concern. Vols girl for 2. You think they let them score that last touchdown? 100%. Jacob Pearson, member for 4 months. Ethan Dalton for 5. This what happened. Simple. Started way too slow. Made good halftime adjustments. Went up 14. Then went conservative. Also, I don't care if you're Tom Brady. Don't run out. I think that's pretty accurate. They started way too slow. They made good adjustments. Went up 14. Then we went right back to that Oklahoma conservative crap.
I've said that twice, by the way.
Yeah. It's true.
Put some respect on his name. Corey Smith, member for 23 months. Appreciate that. Tommy Downs for 5. Even a 5-year-old would know to throw the ball up and not run out of bounds. Doesn't matter if he's a freshman. Vols girl for 5. Thanks, Coach Shea and Dauber, taking us off the ledge. GBO. Me and Coach Rice just chopped liver. Gary for 5. I still say Martinez needs to go. I also said 8-4 in July. Florida, Alabama, UGA, L's away. Come on, Gary. Florida. G. Smith for 5. It's not that Nico's a freshman. I still believe in him. It's the fact that y'all said he was so much better than Joe. To this point, I don't see it. Captain Morgan for 2. No defense done their job. Offense couldn't do poop. Cody Copeland for 5. Hate to lose, but I'd rather us learn these lessons now, kicking into overdrive rest of the season, than this happen late and messes up for a possible playoff run. 10 for 5. Coach Jay, to your point, can't open the playbook when Nico has less than 2 seconds before he is running for his life. Voice for radio for 5. Got popped tonight. The pressure to stay undefeated is gone. Time to go out and play free and unhindered. Evan Counts for 5. Beat Bama, lose to Carolina, lose to Arkansas, beat Bama. Tim Armstrong for another 5 says, yeah, Coach Ross, O-line development, what the crap? Lol. Does Coach Garner have a cousin that is opposite and great at coaching the O-line? O-line sucks. Carter Lance for 2. Did we forget about the 12 personnel? Ethan Davis, Brian Thomas for 2. Humbled. We all needed it. Coaches, players, and fans. No, we didn't. Jazzy, I never know how to say it. Is no one going to talk about Jacoby Thomas stepping out of the way of Singleton on the last touchdown? We've talked about that. Okay, yeah, that was by design or intentional. Brian Hitch becomes a member. Thank you, Brian. Ben for 5. We drank the rat poison. The cure for rat poison is getting humbled. Let's move on and keep growing. Ball fan 25 for 10. Tennessee can and will bounce back next weekend. GBO balls by 50. 10 for 20. Hey, Boogie, if you don't get a super chat from me after tonight, assume my heart has given out on me and have a moment of silence for me on Wednesday night. This team, I try to not care so hard, but I cannot help it. Hey, Tim, Amen. You're in good company. Amen. We all, let me tell you something. We all feel the same way. It's why we talk in the back room, guys. Be patient. There's going to be people that are mad. There's going to be people that are hostile. Guess what? There's going to be people that apologize to the 4 of us tomorrow when they wake up. They're going to say, I'm sorry I took it out on you guys. We are used to it. We're in this together. If I can go through a stream after losing to Georgia State, I can do anything on YouTube. So we're with you, Tim.
Tell them what you.
Yeah, you got one on me.
Before the stream, tell them what you told me, Boogie.
I had to tell Coach Rice to calm down and pump the brakes because I knew he gonna come on here dropping F-bombs and cussing like a sailor. And I said, hey, we got to dial.
What do we always say?
We gotta take a deep breath.
Usabi.
Doing the post-game show after a loss is the hardest thing that we do on here. It's the hardest thing that we do because we care.
Normally, I just crawl in a hole when Tennessee. Before Talkin VAWLS came around, I would just turn off football, and not watch it, and worry about coaching. Worry about coaching, concentrate on the team or something.
I get the bed, just crash, maybe sleep all the way to Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, we are all like-minded and in the same position. Landon for 2, nothing to say, just a tip. Logan Brooks for 2. One thing, 2 weeks to prepare. We might go 7 and 5. We're off the rails, Logan. Eric White becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that. Job Turkey for 10. Nico has to be more confident when the pocket doesn't collapse. At the sign of one rush off a block, he scrambles. He has to learn from these mistakes. Bring it to Florida next week. GBO beat Florida. Landon for 2. The real ones love Dauber. GBO. Look how the chat's just rallying behind Dauber now. Adam Judd for $1. Caleb Bray for 2 says, not saying he is, but is Chris Brazil overhyped? Found me for 2. Well, shit. On to next week. Honest Eve for 2. Man, it's a bad week. Found me beat me on the Talkin VAWLS dynasty, and then Tennessee loses. I'm really struggling. Honest Eve for 2 says Dobbs knew how to throw the ball up. I missed that guy. Kane Train for 2. Where was Matthews? He played. I don't know what the snap count was. Gary for 2. Yes, Florida's improving. We are regressing. Who is hustle game clip? O-line was supposed to be back to full strength tonight, but got owned in the first half. Nico is always trying to make the big play. Need more plants. Hooker killed it on quick slants. Just saying. Timothy McGee for 10. Okay, I hate the veer and shoot. Arkansas offensive scheme is better and multiple offense. We need to protect our quarterback. Like I said earlier, keep 7 men on the line. Andrew for 5. Dog walk Florida next week. Hype going to learn and be fired up. Everyone came up short tonight. Some comments coming up short as well. Read one. Real ones got Dauber. What the heck? Oh, man. Peyton K for 10. Should have let them score as soon as they got in field goal range. GBO. All right. I'm caught up on Super Chats. Let's circle the wagons. Let's come back together here. We'll get back to you guys here in just a little bit. How does Tennessee respond, Coach Rice? How do you respond to this? Because you're frustrated, you're irritated. Season's over. We're going 7 and 5. We're done. Let's sell all our Tennessee stuff. That's what I heard you say. I don't know if that's what you meant. How does Tennessee bounce back from this? You got a Florida Gators team coming to town next week that we've been beat twice in some people's lifetime.
I didn't say the season's over.
No, I was busting your balls. Busting your balls.
But I mean, I do think, I mean, it's a real shot if you don't show up and play like you did. I mean, if you play like you did tonight, 7-5 is a real chance. I mean, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, I mean, all of them, I mean, you can't sleep on them. And if we play like dog crap like we did tonight, 7-5 is a real deal. There ain't no sugarcoating it. And, but you just got to go back in, regroup yourself, and figure out what you do best. Get a game plan together, an actual game plan, not that piece of crap that you got out there tonight, and figure out who's going to play 110% on both sides of the ball, get lined up and simplify things, but also be creative enough to where you're not so predictable that the defense can blow off the ball and get Nico and company not have a chance. Because that's what me personally as a fan, and that's bad as a fan, that I'm seeing it, that it's so predictable. And that's the fans, everything they say. But it's so predictable that the defense can be aggressive that they're playing against, because it's just hard. There's no motion. There's no, creativity with the counter plays or trap plays, or it's the same passing. You see the kind of same passing scheme each play. It's just not very. It doesn't. I don't know the best way to say it, because it's just not 2022. And you saw multiple formations as far as the different things out of 11 personnel and different ways that they ran the ball, whether it be Hendo Cinco or the running backs, and different ways of getting the wide receivers open. You saw quick motions and everything with the wide receivers. And I don't know what happened to our playmakers at tight ends, but they've disappeared. Like the last two games, I don't know where they are, because they're not getting thrown the ball. I don't know where Ethan Davis is. That dude.
I don't think they're getting open, and I think that's
play calling. I think a lot of that's play calling.
They're running routes. They're running routes. They're not getting open.
Simple, basic stuff. I mean, what do you expect them to do, Dauber, when they're running the same schemes over and over again? The defense they're just playing base coverage. And like Georgia's laid out the blueprint to how to, when we're not playing teams that are inferior to us, when they're just going to play back and let Nico beat you. I mean, let the run game beat you. That's what every team's doing. And you've seen that back-to-back weeks now. Luckily, we just, caused a couple turnovers in the Oklahoma game, and the defense won it for us. I mean, that's just what
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm also saying this team, the sky's not falling, and it's not just sunshine and rainbows. They had a bad game. I don't know how many times I've said on this channel, you go on the road in the SEC, and newsflash for everybody, we got that little number that keeps shrinking beside our name, and that puts a big target on your back. You go on the road, you're going to get your damn best from the team that you're facing, especially when you are up there and elevated, maybe hyped up and elevated a little bit more than you should be because you're unproven. But you go on the road in the SEC, it's going to be tough. Period. You see that week in and week out. You saw that in Nashville today. And listen, I know, like Coach Jay said, it doesn't matter. I think Coach Rice, you said it doesn't matter what Alabama did. It doesn't matter, because we need to worry about our own house.
Exactly.
But it's just that you go on the road, it's going to be tough. Just because it's a game that on paper we were rated higher, we should have won. We showed up. We did not play our best. The defense kept us in the game, and the offense got us a shot. Inside the 30, a shot at the end of the game to win it. And we came up short. We had a bunch of miscues. We had a bunch of mistakes. We did not play to our abilities, period. This team is better than what they played tonight. And for all of you that aren't saying, can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. This team is better than they played tonight. Arkansas came out. They had a better game plan. from the coaching staff down to the execution by the players, it was on Arkansas' side tonight. We did not get it done. I said earlier, we won one quarter of football. I'm not pumping up winning one quarter of football. You got to win 4 damn quarters of football to win a football game. We didn't do that. And it's not making excuses. I think everybody on this team, from the coaching staff down, needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror and decide what they want the rest of the season to be, because you cannot show up in the SEC and expect to win a game playing like you did tonight. Just because you've got that little number on the side of your name, up there. Just because you're pumped up and ranked and all that doesn't mean you're going to go win. You have to go out and execute and get it done on the field. They didn't do that tonight. But this team is better than they played tonight.
Yeah, and that's the truth. They are better, but at the same time, they need to go out and show what they can do with the potential this team has. Because the teams that they've won and played against,
but they did
teams.
What they were supposed to against those teams.
But they're not. But you got to go out and prove it against top tier competition. You haven't done that yet. Oklahoma is not very good.
So now you are moving the goalposts.
I will.
I
will move the goalposts because they're not. They haven't.
How you doing, Coach Jay?
To me. They have not proved a single thing to me.
Eating my popcorn over here.
I will admit I'm moving the goalposts because they haven't proved. So what? You beat Chattanooga. So what? You beat Kent State by 100-0. Go out and beat Arkansas on the road and go show you're an elite team. Did they do it? No. They went and got exposed. I hate to say it. I'm more pissed about this loss than anyone. Well, all 4 of us are. We're just as pissed as everyone else. But when you're having an elite team, you have what's supposed to be an elite quarterback, and you say you got this group of veterans, of offensive line that all came back, and you look like dog shit, and then the defense, dog crap. Sorry, the defense, the defense.
I don't care.
Talkin VAWLS after dark.
No, it's not. That's for Tuesday
the
nights.
The defensive line. I mean, they just do not bring it tonight, and I'm sorry. It's just I am moving the goalposts because it's just they haven't shown me anything. They have not shown me anything against an elite team yet. A good team, a competitive team.
Yeah,
because they've not played one, right? Like all you can play is who's on your schedule. And like Dauber said, you've done what you were supposed to do to this point. What are you supposed to do? Go play Alabama, go play Georgia. Go ahead, Coach Jay.
I get what both of you are saying, and I kind of agree with both of you are saying. Yes, this team took care of business against smaller teams at a pace that was record-setting that has never been seen before at Tennessee. But it doesn't add up to enough if you don't do it in the SEC, which is why I kept saying the statement, we're going to judge this team, not just Nico, the whole team on what they do on the grass in the SEC, right? What those moments are like. One of those games went our way. And the other one just did not. We played like crap. And I'm just going to keep saying it, guys. This team, it's easy for fans, right, to be pissed and run it. This team's going to be mad for a day, and then they're going to wake up on Monday and get back to work is what's going to happen. And what they do when they do get back to work, how they bite down, how they look at themselves in the mirror and attack that week of work is going to tell you a lot. If we're sitting here having the same conversation after the Florida game, I'm going to have a lot more pointed questions than I do this week, right? Because 18 to 22-year-old kids go out and crap the bed all the time. Happens every year, almost every single week in college football. If you haven't figured out that now, I don't know what to tell you. You haven't been watching the game long. But how they get back up is going to matter, okay? It just is at the end of the day. It's going to be all that matters. And in a situation like this, I think the culture is important. I think the fact that they do care about each other and fight hard and have a good culture matters. But you have to do it. You just have to do it. That's it. I'm not willing to sell any of these units up the river yet that didn't perform tonight. They got to go back to work and get better.
I want to catch up on super chats. I'm going to type this in the private chat. Yeah, I'm just derailing the whole show because I wanted to talk about this earlier and I forgot. So I'm typing it in the private chat so that I don't forget. So we can come back to that. Dakota for 5 says, just beat Arkansas in the SEC championship game in my dynasty, 49-17. Go Vols. Congrats, Dakota. Dylan Elam for 5. What's the chances of actually going 16-0 now? It's the March Madness factor. Got to watch out for the underdog ankle biters, GBO. I don't think we can go 16-0. Ball fan 25 for 5. Hop has done incredible things while coaching Tennessee, and Nico has done well as quarterback. I'm not going to let one loss get to my heart or mind. That's the thing. I was thinking about this earlier while y'all were yelling and arguing with each other, and I was reading the chat and just shaking my head. Gosh, man, like I get it that you're mad, but you were willing to flush everything for a loss to Arkansas. It's like Heupel sucks, Tim Banks sucks, Nico sucks, everybody sucks. Burn it to the ground. Let's go back to Jeremy Pruitt. Let's go back to Derek Dooley. Let's go back to Butch Jones. Let's see how that works out. It's like, yes, I'm mad, and it stings to lose to Arkansas tonight. There's no excuse. And when somebody's talking and saying how they feel about the game, it's not making excuses. It's giving their opinion on the game. Dauber's not making excuses for why we lost. He's just talking about his opinion on the game. Like that's it. And all the things that Heupel has accomplished and going on the road and beating an Oklahoma team. I don't care if you think they're good, bad, or not. Guess what? They still have time to prove whether or not they're for real. Like to sit here and say Oklahoma's not for real is a joke because they still have a lot of football to play, and they've only lost one football game to Tennessee. So they have an opportunity to prove whether they're good or not. And so to devalue all the things that Josh Heupel has done and this football team has done over one game is exhausting to me. Ball fan for life for 5. Oh, I already read that. That's what got me on that tangent. Thank you, ball fan. Corey Smith for 10. To me, it just seems like they're coaching not to lose as opposed to playing to win. We will be fine. Hashtag GBO. Spoiler alert, Corey. That's what we're going to talk about next. Marvin Medley for $1. Appreciate that. Mouthy Maestro becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate those memberships. Charlie Elwell for 2. Thank you for the super chat. Kane Train for 5. Why does Heupel not go for that nail in the coffin when he gets up? Playing not to lose kills all offensive and defensive momentum. Yes, that's coming up next. Cody Copeland for 5. We used to have a lot of success with stacked wide receivers. We haven't done much of that these last few games. Didn't see it at all tonight. Will Murley for 2 makes us worse off a bye. 9-3 is still worst case. Osama bin Ballin for 2. I care way too much. This team dictates my mood. Same. Pan-seared ribeye for 5. Sloppy play starts with the coach. Sloppy Joe needs a shave and a wardrobe change. At least he looks like a coach. Oh my gosh. It's like, why don't you wear a Tennessee shirt on a Tuesday night stream? You freaking fake and fraud. Let's see. Lazy Llamas for 10. Trying to find a silver lining. Who would have imagined just 4 years ago a team storming the field after beating us? Disappointed in the loss, but love my Vols. I actually kind of thought about that too, Lazy Llamas. Brian Hitch for 5. Love y'all's attitude with the L and making my night better. As a UT student, I can relate with the team's mistakes. You live, learn, grow, pray, and GBO. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that comment. Timothy McGee for 5. Less option. Got multiple offensive scheming. Go back to up tempo and allowing your quarterback to check down. Go away from Hail Mary. Tempo is something else that we should talk about. It's good to be able to go away from it, but maybe that bleeds into the conversation of being conservative. Tommy Downs for 5. I agree with Coach Rice. The scheme has been figured out. Just play back and rally to the short throws, runs, and our offense is completely shut down. Matthew Watson for 5. There wasn't any expectations in 22 until Bama, unlike this year. Captain Morgan for 2. Hooker would have ran the ball. Why isn't Nico running? Are they not calling it? I don't know. Landon Oaks for 10. Afraid Heupel is too loyal to make the necessary changes to the coaching staff. I'm sure that means Halsley has never had an explosive creative game. 22 never ran crazy good routes. They were just open. It's plays. Caleb Bray for 5. 2 6'5" wide receivers against press coverage numerous times. Take a chance, throw it up downfield to them, and let them try and make a play. Miyugli for 5. GB Coach Rice. I guess that's what that means. Who is Hustle Game Clip for 5? Guys, we don't freaking suck. We played like dog doo-doo tonight, and I guess that's what this could be. This could be a long-term blessing. We effing wake up, go win it all. Andrew Short for 2. Need me some Talkin VAWLS after dark tonight. That's Tuesday nights. Y'all tune in on Tuesday nights. Marvin Medley for $1. Appreciate it. Noah, member for 22 months. I was mad, but I love this team no matter what. Gary, member for 14 months, Golish was the real genius. Will Murley for 2, took over a 3-7 team, have success. People forget. Of course they do. Sunshine says, woo, Pig Suey, great game. Congrats. Enjoy your win, Sunshine. Let's talk about Coach Heupel coaching conservative. I've seen a lot of people putting that in the chat. I think it's the truth. I think it was the truth against Oklahoma, and we talked about it after the game. He coached conservative, and yes, they survived. They got the win. They lived on defense, and I thought that's the way this game was going, and this one came back to bite you. Coach Jay, why is Coach Heupel so conservative this year? Because I don't think you can deny it. He is coaching conservative. Is it because he trusts his defense? Is he scared of the offense? What is it about Coach Heupel? He doesn't have that cutthroat, Nico in that post-game media appearance saying we need to put our foot on their throats. Well, we're not doing that. We're not. You're muted.
I mean, it started when they lost their tackles, right? We weren't complaining about a conservative offense until that moment. When we lost these tackles and they started getting blown up off the edge with no time and blown up altogether on the offensive line, everything changed at that moment. Listen, I'm not saying anything that's rocket science here. The SEC is a line of scrimmage league. Or football is a line of scrimmage game. This isn't quantum physics. Our O-line's getting whacked. Bad. Just bad, man. It was bad today. We need to get better. Hopefully Hurd can shake off that rest and play better. Hopefully this unit can put it together. I do think they're capable of playing better. I do think they have the talent. They're upperclassmen, but they got to do it because right now they're not getting it done. And it changed this play calling. It changed it because the offense is under duress. And I don't trust any quarterback when you're under duress. I mean, shoot, man. Look at the kid from Bama today fumbling the bag in the last minute of the game because he was under duress. You put Tom Brady under duress, you got a problem. You put Peyton Manning under duress, and he's throwing pick sixes to lose the Super Bowl against the New Orleans Saints. You put any quarterback under duress, it's a losing proposition, period. And, yeah, that's it. But it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough by anyone on the team. It wasn't good enough by Nico. It just wasn't good enough by anyone tonight. They need to move on and get better. It's period. That's all.
The two guys that never shut up ain't got nothing to say about Coach Heupel being conservative.
I'm just pissed.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm mad too.
The play calling there's something that Coach Heupel and company have to do to simplify, but at the same time get a little more creative as far as eyesight with what the defense is doing. Because there's ways you can do that and still simplify stuff. Defenses they know what the game plan is now against Tennessee's offense, and without changing anything up. And I'm not saying change the whole installation of the playbook and everything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying put minor wrinkles to where you're changing the eyesight of what the defense is looking at, and it's getting to the point where you see Nico when he does have time, and there was times tonight where he did have time, where he's just sitting back there, getting happy feet and stomping, and there's nobody open. Well, there's also reasons, not because the wide receivers aren't giving open, it's because they're playing drop 8 or drop 7, and there's just nowhere to go. There's got to be different ways that you can maneuver the ball down the field than what we've came accustomed to the last 2 years. And that's depending on the run, and run, and then hit them with a play action shot, whether it be a deep skinny post or a go route on the outside, or if they're playing back, come back. I mean, there's got to be other ways to be able to maneuver the ball down the field. And Coach Heupel and the coaching staff's got to get together, see what this team does best, and figure out a better way, a more efficient way to get the ball down the field, because obviously the last 2 weeks it's not been working, and the competition's only going to keep improving. Other than maybe Florida a little bit, but I'm still, it's Florida, so we better bring it.
So
Yeah,
one
I agree.
of my questions tonight is where were the tight ends? Where was attacking the middle of the field?
Dropping game-winning passes.
Well, no,
they were.
but you know, you're talking about Kitzelman. You know, where's everybody else?
Twice.
Yeah. But that's something that we've said, that we've got guys that are big and athletic, and that middle of the field is something that we've not used. And Nico is a guy that distributes the ball. And I don't know if it's play calling, but I do think, and I want to see the game again, and I wish that you could see the whole field. I don't think receivers are getting open. I don't think tight ends are getting open. And I think combination of that with the poor offensive line, it dictates how you have to call the game as a coach.
I think, like, just to confirm what you're saying about receivers not getting, there are more times than not when you get a replay and you can see downfield, everybody's covered, than them showing a replay and being like, well, somebody was wide open and Nico missed it. It's happening more. Look, and I'm not defending Nico. Nico did not play great tonight. His accuracy was off. He didn't play great tonight, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Sorry, go ahead, Bobby.
I'm not buddies with anybody. I'm saying that this game was called by how it was playing on the field. Nico had no time. So you're going to drop the quarterback back and get him hurt? You want Gaston Moore to be in the game? Is that what we want? You want to call a
Some people do.
I mean, guys.
It wasn't every play Nico didn't have time. There's still several plays.
You hand the ball off twice and you're down behind the chains on third down and they're bringing the house. And
now those plays, you're right.
You know, it's
I have to address one comment from a softie in the chat.
Oh Lord.
Like seriously,
all of us are so guilty.
Yeah, no. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, soft. Look, if you don't think he played good, that's fine, right? Like I'll back you on it, right? I might disagree about end note, but soft. I've watched Nico win a championship with a bone sticking out of his finger, a literal bone sticking out of his hand. I watched him win a game, 2 scoring drives late, bone sticking out of his hand, and you're probably struggling to get off the couch, grab another beer. So let's not talk about soft keyboard warriors.
Why'd you say that? Why would I pop the top on a second one?
Hey, I'm having a beer too, so it's all right.
We need one. We need them. We need them tonight.
Speak about what you know, though. You know,
it's just, I get it. There are people that are mad. We're mad. We're frustrated. But gosh,
we're all mad.
It's just the attacks. It's like attacking one of the 4 of us for having an opinion, attacking Nico, attacking Coach Heibel. And I get it. Be frustrated and let's talk about it. But God, just stop. Like you can't just have a conversation. It's always got to be insults and attacking people. Speaking of insults and attacking people, Nicholas for 5 says, "Come at me, Darren, not Boogie. I'll be your Huckleberry." Now I'm getting attacked for playing video games on Tuesday nights. And according to Darren, nobody watches that show. I won't tell you how much money I make on Tuesday nights, Darren. I'll let you think about it. And you can. Hey, Darren, actually, email me real quick and let me know how to run a YouTube channel, because I have no idea how to do it. I would love your feedback, because dang, I must be doing something right if I get to play video games on Tuesday night and the freaking chat hangs out and we have a good time. I don't care if 13 people watch or 5,000 people watch. We have a good time on Tuesday nights, and it's about building the community. So, but hit me up, though. I would love your advice on how to run a YouTube channel. Rob's been a member for 23 months. We appreciate you, Rob. Timothy McGee for 2 says, "Hey, doesn't hurt. Trust Nico like Crompton." Hey, he means he doesn't trust Nico like Crompton said.
Y'all see where he said he'd rather have Pavia than Nico?
I was going to bring that up, and then I forgot about it. What an absolute stupid comment. Stupid comment. What is up with that, man? Let me jam these. Let's not get derailed. Brian Thomas for 5. Nico had his big chance to get the fourth quarter comeback game-winning drive and blew it. I think tape is out on Heupel offense. SEC defense figured it out. G. Smith for 5 says he's playing conservative because he doesn't trust the backups if Nico gets hurt. It's just that simple. Hashtag go Vols. And I wonder if that's why he's not running Nico as well. Noah James for 5. Boogie, Coach Jay, Dauber, Coach Rice. I love you guys. Thank you for the therapy. That's what we're here for. No, we appreciate that super chat. Rob for 5 says Uncle Lou about got his butt kicked tonight by a Vols fan. Hilarious. It's on his channel. Where do you see the rest of the season going? GBO.
We're about to find out.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah,
That's
find
y'all
out.
don't want to know my opinion.
actually. Oh, good Lord, have mercy. Coach Rice is becoming the chat in the flesh. He's feeding off of their energy.
No, I mean, I'm just calling it like it is right now. It's just we don't look good other than the defense, and that was questionable at times tonight. The offense does not.
Coach Rice, what was your?
Oh,
what was your-
we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. This is the last super chat, and it's a 50 spot. It's a big boy, so I want to play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
I played that clip just for Darren since Tuesday nights don't make money, so I'll do this one too. Randall for 50. That is very generous, Randall. We appreciate that. Says Tennessee football will be the death of me. Heupel is a good coach, but his teams are different on the road than they are at home. It's time to regroup. Like, tell me when Randall's telling lies. That's an accurate statement. That is an accurate statement. Heupel teams struggle on is what it is. Randall, we'll get through this thing together, brother. We'll get through it together. Times are better now than they've ever been. Well, not ever, but than they've been in a long time. Kane trained for 10. There are multiple screens and RPOs to help with bad O-line play. Seems like the only one we have run recently is a squirrel wide receiver screen on the sideline. Dylan for 2. This team has 2 options: sit and cry about it, or go smack Florida in the mouth. So let me.
Thank you, Dylan.
Coach Rice, you were about to go on a tangent about the. Well, I guess who was about to talk? Was it you, Coach?
No, Coach.
I was.
Coach
Actually,
Rice-
I was going to ask Coach Rice.
Okay.
I was going to ask Coach Rice a question, and I really don't mean this flippant. Like I mean it because I do this to my damn self, Coach Rice. Right? I do.
Yeah.
What was your? Remind me of your score pick before this game.
It was 42 to 17. But listen,
45-17.
listen, or 45-17.
Okay.
I was hoping
Got it
the
right here.
Oklahoma game was a one-off, and I was hoping to get back to where we were, and that's just not the way it is. And that's the reason why going into this Florida game is my perspective of what Tennessee's offense looks like the rest of the year. It's changed. I don't have any confidence in this offense right now. Because of the offensive line, Nico's not looking to where what I thought he would look like going into this part of the season. Not saying he can't get to that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. That is very fair. I'm right with you.
I'm with him.
Yeah.
I'm with him. I'm shaking
And
my head in
the
agreement.
wide receivers and the play calling and the scheme is just not what we were accustomed to, 2 years ago. We thought it was because of the QB play last year and that valid points. But a lot of it is looking the same this year as some of the play calling. And a lot of it is, like you said,
play calling
because of the
standpoint.
offensive line issues and other things. But the chemistry of the whole offense is just not right. And going forward into the rest of the season, I know we're going to get into it, so I don't want to kill the lead. I'm not liking the way this offense and the defense is going to have to go win us some games. Now, they can turn the corner and, go be awesome, and I hope they do. But right now, I'm just being honest. From what I see, it's just the offensive line, the wide receivers, the play calling, the QB. It's not looking appetizing.
Let me play devil's advocate here for everybody in the chat that's on board with Coach Rice here, saying he's spot on. He's the only one that's got the balls to say what's true.
Yeah.
No, here's my thing about it, right? And look, we all come on here and we make predictions and we talk and we're riding a high and we're emotional just like everybody else, right? Going into this game, Coach Rice felt that Tennessee was going to, what'd you say, 45? Is that what it was?
45-17.
Sure. And look, I've missed way more predictions than anybody on this channel. what you thought about this offense through those first 4 games shouldn't change just because of one game against Arkansas, right? Like you shouldn't devalue what this offense did. Whatever you saw in those first 4 games, you thought they were playing pretty good football. They were leading the country in scoring. Yes, I know Kent State, Oklahoma, blah 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 blah. Yeah, blah 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 blah. But you still thought they could score 45 against Arkansas. It is possible to go out and lay an egg and not play a good football game and still be able to bounce back and recover. Let me
Alabama.
Let's just roll this thing. Yes, let's just roll this thing into what does the rest of the season look like? Because for me, when the clock hit 0, and I was like, all right, there's an L. This is like losing the Oklahoma game. This is just like, for me, you replace the Oklahoma game with this Arkansas game, and we're in that same situation. And I said, if we lose that game to Oklahoma, we're looking at 9-3. That's what I felt. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. We're going to face an opponent in 2 weeks. Florida's coming to town on Saturday. We're going to face an opponent in 2 weeks that just lost to Vanderbilt. So you guys can get on here and talk about the coach speak and pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and look yourself in the mirror and all that type of fun stuff. Guess what? Alabama's got to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost to Vanderbilt.
Yep.
So we're going to see what you're made of. We're going to see what they're made of, and we're going to find out what Tennessee is made of. So I think we take care of business against Florida. I think this team is going to respond. I think they're going to bounce back. I think Florida's really bad. I get it. Battered ball syndrome says there's no chance we beat Florida. I think we're going to beat Florida. And then I think your shot at the college football playoff is going to come down to who responds, Alabama after losing to Vanderbilt or Tennessee after losing to Arkansas.
Or Georgia after losing to Bama.
That too.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
That's the sting.
The craziest thing is right now, Texas A&M looks like the best team in the SEC.
Who?
Defense, offense is moving the ball.
Texas A&M.
It's against.
And they have a loss too, right? Who did they lose to?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. But
who also lost
Northern
to
Illinois.
Yeah, so
hey,
come on, let's
guys, it's college football,
right
man. College.
But
imagine
this right
crap
now,
happens.
Right, exactly,
time.
it is. But imagine, Coach Rice, you're a Texas A&M fan, and you're like, we freaking lost this game, and they lost to Northern Illinois. We suck. And it's like, well, you're looking at it now when hindsight's 20/20, and it's like, well, they're playing good football now. Well, guess what? We could be looking at Tennessee
and that's
2 weeks from now.
Earlier.
Yeah,
that's why I said just a little bit. I said this offense could turn the corner and do what I was just talking about. And that's why I was saying at this point of the season in SEC play, that's why I said Texas A&M they look like the top because of defense. They're balanced, and that's why I'm thinking if this offense can take a step and the defense can work out a few kinks that they missed on the night and skew a few penalties, then we can be easily there at the end of the year where we want to be. But they got to turn the corner on offense, whether it be simplifying the offense and doing a few things differently, or they better figure out the offensive line play.
Coach Rice, what's your message to this team in the locker room? You're the head. You're the coach.
What'd you say?
What's your message to this team in the locker room? You're the head coach.
Guys, you got two things you can do.
Profanity laced.
Well,
don't lie to me, Coach Rice.
Hold on, let me answer that part for him. That's for the film room tomorrow. Is when you profanity lace them up. Yeah.
To players, it's a little different, but you could do two things. You can either take this game, and that could define this old coach speak. It can define the way you go out and perform the rest of the season, or you can learn from this game and get better from it and go out and show everyone else that's not who you were. You were the team that you thought you were when you could go out and be a national title contender, but you have to go out each play, each practice, and each rep and show not only the other people, but you show yourself what you can do and be who you thought you could be, your potential, the greatness of what you think you can be. Not just, don't let that Arkansas game define you. Go be 2022 Tennessee versus Alabama. I'm not going to say that actually, but go defeat all odds and go show everyone else how great you actually are.
Dauber, how do you think the
I'm
rest
here
of this
for it.
season plays out, brother?
I mean, like I said, this team needs to take the plane back to Knoxville tonight and take a long, hard look in the mirror at themselves and decide what they want for the rest of this season. Coach Rice and I have been kind of,
Dauber knows
at odds tonight a little bit, and
Dauber knows I still love him. Wednesday we'll be joking around.
Yeah, but saying A&M's the best team.
Well,
I think it is a team from Texas, but it's not A&M. It's Texas.
Yeah, well, I forgot about Texas.
I think Texas is
about Texas.
Head and shoulders above A&M.
They're new
with
to
their
the
backup
SEC.
quarterback. It's
Texas going to lose to Oklahoma like every other year. Like every other year.
And they might.
And then I'm going to get on here and yell about how great Oklahoma is, and we beat them on the road.
That's right.
Here's the thing, and I said it earlier. The SEC is a dogfight. You go on the road, it's going to be tough. This team tonight did not, and I'm not making excuses because they pissed the bed. From the coaching staff down, the game plan to the execution, multiple. You cannot put it on one player or one coach. You can't put it on the offense. You can't put it on the defense. It was a total team. Piss the bed.
You're right.
And that's what I want to get across the board here. And there's no excuses because this team was better on paper before they traveled down to Fayetteville. This team played like ass in the first half and was only down 3. You come out after halftime and you kind of get going and clicking. You score 14, and then you go conservative. This team has to find an identity.
Yeah,
we thought a couple weeks ago, okay, it's good. This team has found another way to win. They don't have to. And Coach Rice, you've said multiple times tonight, this isn't 2022, and keep going back in the mirror, rear view mirror, trying to compare to 2022. Completely different team, completely different, quarterback, the play calling, it's different, and it's apples and oranges. You can't compare this and this. It's different, but at the same time, it's still football. So you got to go out and you got to take care of business, and to finish up, to get going. The rest of this season starts next Saturday. You got to protect your home turf. You got Florida, who is a bad team coming into Knoxville, but it's one of those. I'll believe it when you prove it to me. How many times have we been the better team on paper against Florida and we find a way to lose it? So what this team can do is they get home to Knoxville and decide, am I going to show up? Am I going to play to my capability the rest of this season? The coaching staff, am I going to, put together a game plan that beats the game plan for the opposing coaching staff? And tonight, I think Petrino and Pittman, I think they outcoached our coaching staff. Arkansas's players, they executed. Like I said earlier, they won 3/4 of football. We won 1. What's that add up to? It's pretty simple when you come down to it. But like you asked me, Boogie, how does this team move forward? This team moves forward by coming out and showing up and playing Florida and executing and taking care of business like they've done the previous 4 games. You know, tonight was not what any of us wanted. It would have been a lot more fun to come on here after a W and instead of, you know, volleying back and forth and everybody, the sky's falling and all this, but it is what it is. You either pick up your jock strap and move on and you know, get better, or you lie in, you know, the bed you just pissed in, and that is what it is.
What the? Garrett, get alive, bro. I talk big trash now. I won't own it. Like, this game's my fault somehow. This game is my fault because I get on here as a fan and I celebrate the success. Like, God, man, some of y'all, I love a lot of y'all. Some of y'all be better off just going somewhere else for your Tennessee content. If you can't sit there and make a decision for yourself how you feel, if you're going to blame me for how you feel, grow up, man. Get a freaking life. Get a freaking life.
I'll say one more thing and I'll be done.
Are you sure? Because I don't even think you answered the question I asked at this point.
No, well, listen.
We have been. We have been listening.
Maybe, just maybe, Arkansas isn't as bad of a team as their record indicates. They're a couple of plays away from being undefeated. And I think we talked about that Wednesday. So just throw that out there and you know, we'll move forward.
Yeah, I agree.
We catch up with.
Hey, man, I agree.
Timothy for 5. Lol, that is what you get. That is why you get a quarterback in the portal like D2 or JUCO. Who is Hustle Game Clip for 10? Love you guys. That 20 is for y'all and the young ladies paying the way through school. Need more slants? Plays over the middle. Derek Sanders for 5. What's up with Glenn Ellerby and Heupel? The offense is so predictable. Sword the Demon for 5. Will keep getting better while these Negavols can cry harder. Andrew Short for 2. Defense is there. Down 3 at the half. Lesson learned. Anna Cresswell becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Anna. We appreciate you. Brian Thomas for 2 says Coach Rice is RPO best for Nico and RO. Coach Rice, yes or no?
Yes, they're gonna have to make some simplified adjustments because they reading the field down and making multiple reads on the field. It's just not working. Not only because half the time Nico doesn't have time, but in the other half the time the defense is confusing Nico. So it's just there's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, something needs to be simpler. Quick RPOs and, you know, getting that run game established early always helps.
I don't think Boogie understands where the reason his bills get paid. Well, I never said that there, Dalton. I said if you can't understand what I'm talking about and me celebrating Tennessee's success and you want to blame me for a loss, then kick rocks, man. Like, do you understand? Like, look, we are all diehard, passionate Tennessee fans. And the entire night, Dauber's been attacked. Coach Rice has been attacked. Coach Jay's been attacked. I've been attacked. We're here hanging out, having a good time, trying to talk Tennessee football, and we're all upset. And we're all mad because Tennessee lost. But, you know, yeah, it's a public platform. That's what we get for coming on here. But if you think that I'm going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, may I have another? Guess what? Y'all can say crap, and we can say crap back. And that's a select few. Most of you guys get it. Most of you guys are having a good time. And it's always a certain select few that want to come in here and attack people, and it's stupid. So yeah, you can say whatever you want, and guess what? It's the internet. I can say stuff back. That's the way it works. So if you want to blame me or Dauber or Coach Rice or Coach Jay or whoever, I can fire back just the same. That's the way the internet works. Seth P for 5. I hate this loss. This season is going to be some wild SEC play. Only 3 teams now don't have an SEC loss. Landon Oaks for 2 says who's calling the plays? Love the passion, all love. Appreciate that, Landon. Mm-hmm. I think Halsey's calling the plays. I really do. I think Halsey's calling the plays. Obviously, Coach Hype has input. Coach Hype's going to step in if he wants to, but I truly think that Halsey is calling the plays. All right, we ready to call tonight before I have to yell at somebody else and then they blame me and whatever.
Let's just pull it together and figure this, you know, game of football that we all love out this week, talking about Tennessee, and, you know, figure out what we do best, get away from the things we don't do well. Make it simpler for our QB when you have an offensive line that it at times can be, very targeted and, blitzed or rushed, and makes our QB, a little quick triggered or happy feeted. So let's figure this thing out defensively, clean up a couple of things that you did wrong tonight, and remember who you represent, that power T, because at the end of the day, your brother's on the team, and that power T. Main thing is you got to remember who you represent, and then the power T and your brothers. So get it figured out, and let's go whoop Florida.
Hey, Dauber, did you know that I make $28,000 a month? Oh, God bless America. I got to use better social media discipline. If I made $28,000 a month, I don't make $28,000 a month. But I appreciate you counting my bank account. All right, for Coach Shea, for Coach Rice, for Dauber. Everybody sleep, take a deep breath.
Go Vols.
Realize we're all Tennessee fans. And I'll be waiting for the apology tomorrow. Go Big Orange.
That we charge.